Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gate City Sports Radio's broadcast of the Girls Region 2D Tournament and the James River Advisors pregame show live from Gate City Middle School's gymnasium. I'm Chris Carr, along with Jesse McCormick, and we will be bringing you tonight's action as it unfolds between the Virginia High Bearcats of Bristol and your Gate City Blue Devils. Make sure you stay tuned in for the Big Blue Boosters starting lineups and the infamous Campus Drive-In halftime show featuring a first half recap and look ahead to the second half action. Before we go any further, let me reintroduce my substitute co-host, Jesse McCormick. Jesse, how are things in your world?
They're pretty good, Chris. Just a long day at work today, ready to sit down and watch some basketball.
That's the truth. Also, before we go any further, let me mention our normal co-host and play-by-play man, Joe Carter. Joe finally was able to get his gallbladder removed today, so he's still feeling a little bit under the weather. He called me earlier, and honestly, Joe, if you're listening, you kind of sounded out of it. So I assured you we'd have everything going fine here, so yours truly is going to attempt to guide the ship tonight. But Joe, we're thinking about you, praying for a speedy recovery. Because our commercials and music are all loaded on Joe's computer, and I'm broadcasting from my cell phone, we're running without interruption tonight. So tonight's features a very interesting matchup. Virginia High comes in at 16-11. Gay City sits at 15-10. Gay City is averaging right at 51 points per game. Virginia High averages 49 points per game. Gay City came out of the conference the number 2 seed. Virginia High, the number 3 seed. So on paper, these two teams match up pretty evenly. Jesse, as a coach, you've been in this situation. What do you think is going to be the determining factor tonight?
Well, Chris, a lot of it comes down to who can knock down those early baskets. In these do-or-die games, these win-or-go-home games, it's easy to not want to make the mistake and kind of play not your normal game. I think it's going to be the team that can come out, find their groove, hit down those early baskets, and try to put pressure on the other team. And I think the ones that can do that will come out with a win.
Well, if the law of averages plays out, and more times than not it seems to, that's going to work into Gate City's favor. Right now, they are averaging 12 points in the first quarter compared to 9 for Virginia High. Both teams are dead even at 11 points in the second quarter, dead even at 16 points in the third quarter, and then Gay City's outscoring Virginia High 10-8 in the fourth quarter. So it is going to be interesting to see. I know you've not seen the Gay City girls this year, but they have predominantly been a second-half team. It seems like all season they've kind of had a little bit of a slow start, and then they just build their momentum as the game goes on, and the third and fourth quarters have really been their strong suit. The winner of tonight's matchup moves on to play Friday at 6 p.m. at UVA Wise. We've still about 3 minutes, 10 seconds before the start of the game. So while we have a moment, let me thank all of our sponsors that make these broadcasts possible. Normally, as I'm sure you're all aware, Joe has his fancy commercials recorded and the music queued up, and I have access to none of that tonight, so Jesse and I are kind of flying by the seat of our pants, so bear with us. It's not going to be the normal radio gold I know you're used to, but we do want to thank our sponsors because we could not make this possible without their help. They are Premier Pharmacy, La Coretta of Weber City, Broadwater Trading Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of Scott County, James River Advisors, Campus Drive-In, Delegate Terry Kilgore, the Law Office of Jesse Walker McMurray, Nova Health and Rehab, Elmcroft of Johnson City, Colonial Funeral Home, and, of course, the Big Blue Booster Club. Whenever possible, please solicit these fine folks. Thank them for all they do for Gay City High School. So we're down to about 2 minutes to go now before the start of the game. Jesse, let me preview this for you. Gay City this year has been the definition of a Jekyll and Hyde team. As I was telling you beforehand, some of their defensive efforts they've put out are the best I have ever seen out of a high school girls team, and there's been little doubt in my mind they're going to roll right into Richmond. Other nights, it seems like they've had a little bit of trouble getting going. I think you'd agree with me. When it comes do or die time in the tournament, you cannot afford a slow start.
No, and that's one thing you mentioned earlier that Gate City likes to be a second half team. That's a dangerous game to play because you can only get away with that for so much. At some point, a team's going to make you pay for not getting out to a hot start. And tonight, with this being a win-or-go-home game, you can't afford to have that be tonight.
Watching Virginia High warm up, they've got some height on Gate City. I personally look for maybe Irvin and Steele to come in, the freshman off the bench, try to even up that height disadvantage. We're less than 1 minute to go. Normally we have the national anthem loaded up for you to listen to as they play here. Of course, like I said, we don't have that luxury tonight, so when we do begin the national anthem, I'll just turn my microphone out, and hopefully you can pick that up. If not, you can just enjoy a few minutes of dead air and not my voice. The cheerleaders are lining up now. Both teams are getting ready for the national anthem, and we're down to about 30 seconds. Looking ahead, tomorrow the boys play against Union at 8 o'clock at UVA Wise. And, Jesse, that's going to be playing a big conference rival for the third time this season. That's kind of got me nervous.
Well, that's like I said, anytime there's a big game, anytime playing a team 3 times, if they've won twice, it's hard to beat a good team 3 times. They've seen you a couple times. If they've lost twice, they've got nothing to lose. Gate City may come in overlooking them.
Well, and Union actually did lead Gate City for a while in the matchup in Big Stone Gap. They're a really physical team. It looks like we are getting ready for the national anthem, so we'll take that with them.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nice rendition of the national anthem, as always. And now we're ready for your Big Blue Boosters starting lineup. And they're going through the standard announcement for VHSL. There's a fairly good crowd tonight. I'd say the gym may be half full. Maybe a few more people come trickling in. They're a loud crowd already. Both teams, Virginia High especially, seems like they've turned out really well for tonight. And we are almost ready for the Big Blue Boosters starting lineup. At guard, number 1, Brianna Owens. At guard, number 3, Maria Wilson. Number 22, senior, L. Sidnor. And number 32, Diana Spence. And forward is number 35, Madison Worley. And now the starting lineup for your Gate City Blue Devils. The lights go down. The disco lights come up. Jesse, I keep hoping for a glow-in-the-dark game with light-up rims, but it hasn't happened yet. And first player introduced, number 5, Kendall Quillen. Along with Quillen is number 21, Sam Jarrell. Also number 23, Sarah Thompson. Number 24, Macy Mullins makes her way onto the court. And number 40, Riley Housewright. And that is your Big Blue Boosters starting lineup for tonight's tournament game. Jesse, last thoughts before tip-off?
I'm just looking forward to seeing who can get the early hot hand and see who can put the pressure on the other team.
And the good thing about sports, we're about to find out. Gay City already on the court, ready to go. And here come the Bearcats. We're going to have Riley Housewright jumping. It looks like it's going to be against Madison Worley. And we're set to get underway. Ball's up, and it goes to Virginia High. Brianna Owens has the ball, dribbles around the right-hand side. Virginia High going to your right speaker. And very quickly, they're going to get her with the travel, and it's going to be turned over to Gay City. That's almost as good as getting the opening tip-off. Mullins inbounds the ball to Thompson. Thompson gets it across the timeline, kicks it back over to Quillen. Quillen almost back at center court, no rush, feeds the ball over to Gerald on the right-hand side. They swing it back over to Quillen on the left. She wants a three, but nothing there. And Thompson has the ball back at the volleyball line. Thompson on the right-hand side looking to drive down the baseline. Kicks it back out instead to Quillen, and they swing it back around to the top. Virginia High not letting Gay City have a moment's rest or able to get inside. Thompson pulls for three. Shot's no good. Rebounded by Madison Worley, and here come the Bearcats. Worley brings the ball down the court, kicks it back over to Maria Wilson. Wilson drives in, shot's no good, rebounded by Worley. Worley puts it up, shot is good. We have our first points of the game. Virginia High leads 2-0 with 6:55 to go in the first quarter. Before I can get all of that out, Mullins has the ball back across the court for Gate City. Getting lots of pressure from Worley. She tries to pass it inside to Housewright. Housewright wasn't quite ready for it. Ball goes out of bounds. It's going to go back to Virginia High. L. Sidner passes the ball in to Maria Wilson. Gay City already going to their full court press, making Virginia High work for it a little bit. Sam Jarrell all over L. Sidner. And Jesse, you've not really seen the girls, like I said before, in action. But when Sam Jarrell's mad on defense, she's like a bulldog. Shot goes up, no good. Goes out of bounds, though, and it's going to stay with Virginia High. Sidner set to inbound under her own basket. Long, generous count from the officials. They get it into Maria Wilson. Wilson trapped in the corner by Mullins. Tries to pass it back out to Diana Spence is checked into the game. She loses control. Ball goes out of bounds back to Gay City. Spence lost control on that because Thompson was giving her absolutely no breathing room, nowhere to go. The pass was just a little bit out of her grasp. Mullins running point now. Brings the ball down, looking to drive inside. Kicks it over to Quillen. Quillen mishandles it. She didn't have time to pull up for a three. I think that's what the plan was for. Quillen drives in, throws a shot up, hits the floor, nothing. Rebounded by Housewright. Housewright's shot goes up, no good. Out of bounds. Last touch by Virginia High. Mullins now set to inbound under her own goal. Again, a long count for the officials. Works for Gay City's advantage. Finally gets to Thompson. Thompson